We're live. We are live. Hi everyone. Just checking the volume. How's it going, everyone? It's been a week or so since I've checked in on live. Um, I haven't been on live because it's the end of the World Cup and I'm not ready. I'm not ready. Um, so there's been some sadness in there. Um, let me know how you guys are feeling about this winding down. We've got 2 games left. Before I get into that, if you're seeing me for the first time, my name is Elle. I am the host of the Speaking Tongues podcast, where we talk about language and culture from all over the world. And I've been on here on live on YouTube talking about the World Cup, talking about football. Some of you call it soccer throughout the entire World Cup tournament because football is the ultimate intersection between language and culture and diversity. And that's what my podcast is all about. And also, I love football. So that's what we've been talking about for the past month or so. And thank you to everyone who has joined me so far in these videos. Even if you've watched it on the replay or left a comment, I'm very, very grateful for your presence. And it's been so exciting having this opportunity to jump on live and just talk about something else I love that's not just language related. We have a new episode of the podcast out this week. We are taking a bit of a different approach this week, and it's so exciting. We're talking about computational linguistics with Dr. Albert Ventayol. And we are talking about his work in linguistics, but also the work that is happening with AI in language, low resource and indigenous languages, and the languages that he works with. We decided to make it a broad conversation about linguistics because Dr. Ventayol has worked with so many languages around the world. He is definitely a polyglot. And a lot of his languages that he speaks and that he's worked with are so varied, but what brings them all together is his work in linguistics. And so I really wanted to talk to him about that and have that conversation with him because I know a lot of us are talking about AI, a lot of us who are language learners and those of us who love language. There are concerns about how AI is being used and how professionals are researching it and working with large companies in order to, ensure that there's equity for languages all over the world. Albert works with Meta currently, so there's a whole portion of our conversation where we are talking about his work with Meta, what he can discuss, because can't give away the sauce. But check that episode out. It's out this week. It came out on Monday. It's up here on my YouTube channel. Give it a thumbs up. Leave us a comment. Let me know what you think of the conversation. If you have anything to chime in or any other thoughts about linguistics or any other thoughts about AI as it pertains to language, feel free to drop them in the comment box because we're all trying to learn. We're all trying to get through this together. So I'm going to try to keep this quick because I am in my studio closet and it is 95 degrees in New York today. It is very hot. And as of today in the World Cup, we just wrapped up the final 2 matches, semifinal matches. And we know who's going to the 3rd place match and we know who's going to the final. So the final is set. We have Spain versus Argentina. That is not where I thought we were going to go with the semifinals. I really was predicting France and Argentina. I thought we were going to get a rematch of the last World Cup. And the joke's on me because Spain played their ass off yesterday. And France didn't. France just completely fell apart in the midfield. And it was like watching a napkin get wet and like disintegrate before your eyes, like right in the center. It was really weird. Would I say that I'm 100% rooting for France and that was my team? No. But I did expect them to get to the final, and I did expect them to play a lot better than they did yesterday. So that was really shocking. The saddest part of that for me personally, and I have seen some other people express this as well, we did not at any point in the tournament get to see an appearance from N'Golo Kante. He is a midfielder, I think defensive midfielder for France. He's older. He's not. I'm older than him, but he's an older player, and he was crucial to France's midfield and their victory in 2018. It was 8 years ago. Okay, but he was on the squad, and I still don't understand why he wasn't played. Yesterday would have been a perfect opportunity for him because he can get the ball, he can hold the ball, he can control that midfield really well, and that's where France really needed help. For anybody else who has followed France over the years, unfortunately, we may never see Paul Pogba play again for France, which again, another, I believe he's a defensive midfielder. Please feel free to correct me. I'm just going off memory right now, but he and Conte were dynamic duo, and it was, he's got his own issues, but we won't see them again. And like I said, I think the last video, we're not saying that phrase, the last dance, anymore, but we are saying goodbye probably to N'Golo Kante on the national stage. He could be back. He could be back in 2030. I doubt it. Even if he stays healthy, we don't know. He is the nicest guy in football. He's a former Chelsea player, and he's just incredible. He's a winner, and he's great at what he does. So it was unfortunate to not see him have any playing time. I was fully expecting him to be subbed in. And if France had gotten to the final versus Argentina, let's not kid ourselves. We knew Argentina was going to the final. I fully expected to see him there. So that's disappointing. Like I said, Spain was playing exceptional football. So congrats to them. I really didn't spend a lot of time paying attention to Spain in this World Cup. That's on me. And they've been playing exceptionally throughout. So I don't know. I'm excited. I'm excited for them on Sunday. I will be firmly rooting for Spain for the first time in 16 years. So that's where we are. The last time I rooted for Spain, I don't think I've told this story. I'm going to make it quick. But the last time I rooted for Spain was the year that they won the World Cup. And if memory serves me, I think they won. They were the Euro winners previously that time. Somebody please correct me if you're watching this, because I'm going off memory. I don't remember. But I feel like they were the Euro winner the year before that World Cup of 2010. I could be wrong. But in 2010, they were completely unstoppable. And yours truly was in Madrid the day that they won the World Cup, which was incredible. I actually have an essay up on my Substack page where I'm writing about this, that World Cup in 2010 and what led up to me ending up in Madrid. So I won't give it too much. I won't give too much of it away. You can read that on my Substack, and how how I ended up in Madrid in 2010 when Spain won the World Cup. And that's the last time I rooted for Spain. And now it looks like I'm about to start rooting for them again. My hair looks terrible today. I don't know what's going on. I don't know what's going on with my hair. But it's clean. It's clean today. So that's what matters. England played Argentina today. For a good portion of that game, it looked like England could have pulled an upset. I'm going to hold my extensive comments here. But unfortunately, they didn't. They got their one goal. They opened the scoring. And from what I've seen, I'm not a tactical football. I'm more or less vibes when it comes to football. But it kind of looked like they they weren't really pushing back as much as they should have been after that first goal was scored. But their goalkeeper, England's goalkeeper, he was doing so well for so long, and then just suddenly he wasn't. And I was really listen. I've not been one to root for England either, but you know, I was rooting for England in this game. I was rooting for Jude Bellingham. And I can't not root for Jude Bellingham. For Jude Bellingham, yes, I wanted England to get to the final. I think he has been exceptional throughout this tournament, and everything I've seen about him, like personally as a person off the pitch, he just seems like an absolute prince. And I definitely, I think he's going to go really far. And he's so young. He's so young. So he's got many, many years ahead of him. It's like trippy to me how these players are so young, because they were probably so young when I was young too. But I just felt like everyone was older than me. So, when I was 22, oh my God, am I saying this? When I was his age, I felt like everyone was older. And now that I'm older, I feel like everyone is 22, 23. Lamine is a teenager. Jude Bellingham is in his 20s. Kylian Mbappe, he's young. Like, they're all so young. So they have so much ahead of them, and they have such bright futures, and they're really brilliant football players. And I hope to see the best from them at the next World Cup and at Euros and in their club teams as well. It did look like it was coming home for a while. I won't lie. So to England, to Jude Bellingham, hugs, 2026 hugs, because it could have been something. It could have been something today. If you watch my last video, you know where my thoughts are about the Argentina team. Again, to be clear, is not personal toward anybody who is Argentine, anybody who is of Argentine heritage, descent, whatever, nothing personal. But we kind of have to admit there's been a lot of favoritism toward this team, and it's making it really, really difficult to root for them, to feel happy for this team. And it's not just me saying this. There's a lot of people who feel this way. So I don't know. I was watching Telemundo. I was watching it in Spanish, and my Spanish is getting better. It's getting better. My comprehension is getting better, because I was in the store the other day and I was eavesdropping on these two women trying to pick a hair color, and I understood a good 90% of their conversation. So I'm very proud of myself. And that's probably going to come crashing down by Sunday. But I'm going to try to keep it up, because Spanish is very useful for me here in New York City. And it's a very useful language in general, because, we've got like a billion Spanish speakers all over the world, and Spanish is an amazing language. So, I'll do the best I can. But, I would love to know what you guys think who are watching this, or, if you're in the chat, or if you're watching this on the replay. What are your thoughts? What are your feelings about Argentina throughout this tournament, either their performance or the calls that have been made against the team? Do you agree with what people are saying, that there's favoritism that's shown toward this team, toward who, Leo Messi? Has it made you feel differently about watching World Cup, especially if you've watched it for the first time? Is your first time watching it? Has it made you feel any differently? I'd love to hear thoughts from both sides. I think that, the way that I look at it, and this is my thought about it, is whether you support Argentina or not, totally your right to do so. To me, it's kind of like if you read a book or you see a movie, And let's say you read the book and you are like, okay, it's well written, but it's not my style. That's kind of how I feel about Argentina. Like, you can see something and recognize that there is talent there, but you can also recognize that maybe there were some bad calls. Maybe there were some things that should have been called against them that weren't called against them. Things that maybe could have affected the outcome of the game or could have affected their level of play. Because this is not a coincidence that we've gone game after game after game with something controversial happening. I think probably the biggest example of that was with when they played Egypt. Um, and you can discuss amongst yourselves, because I really am not going to change the way I feel about it. Um, and I don't expect anybody else to change the way they feel about it either. Just putting that out there, that I think two things can be true at the same time. They can be a team that plays well, and they can be a team that's a favorite of the governing body of this tournament. Um, I would love to hear some predictions for the final. If anybody has any predictions, please feel free to share them. Leave them in the comments, leave them in the chat. I don't know what's going to happen. I was thinking last night that I have my little chart over here. We only saw about 4 games in the knockout stage that have gone to penalties. And I was expecting more games would have gone to penalties. So, what's up with that? I kind of thought that yesterday's match, France and Spain, would have gone to penalties, or at least would have gone into overtime. And I was really surprised that it didn't. But we've only had 4 games that have gone to penalties in this whole time. It was Germany, Paraguay, Netherlands, Morocco, Australia, Egypt, and Switzerland, Colombia. I don't know about you guys, but I like a penalty shootout. I like a penalty shootout, especially when it feels like a game that's hard fought by both teams. It's like, just let fate and skill decide who should go forward. Do you guys like penalty kicks? Let me know, because sometimes I feel like I'm the only one who appreciates it. It's easier to handle when you don't have a horse in this race, which I really didn't for most of the tournament. There were teams that I wanted to see them do well. I wanted to see them go as far as they could, but where it was like my team, my heart, my soul, I wasn't really feeling that so much during this tournament. I just really wanted to enjoy the tournament. So we've got Spain and Argentina for the final. I think Spain could do it. I'm not going to lie. The way that they played against France, they were prepared, and they played really well. So I think it's possible. I think it's possible. I know a lot of people are going to be watching the game because they want to see Lamin's little brother, who is so adorable. And we don't want to see that baby cry. So let's hope that Spain will come through. My personal World Cup ends with the 3rd place match, because France is probably the last team that I really was excited to watch, that was still left standing. So I'll be watching that match with vigor for the first time probably in my life. So we'll see. I might go live during the final. I'm not sure. I'll be with my pals, my World Cup friends, for the final. And I'm really excited because, we have been World Cup buds, watching World Cup for decades. And we're getting together for the final for the first time in such a long time. So I'm really, really, really excited to be watching the final with my friends. And I can't wait. I was totally planning on wearing my France jersey because I thought France was going to be in the final. So now I have to find a new outfit to wear, which, that's that's it's not really a problem. It's just one more thing I have to think about. And I don't have anything with the Spanish colors, so I'm gonna have to just be neutral for this game and just enjoy a game. One thing that I am thinking about is, seeing, and I'm gonna say this, wrap this up real quick, but seeing so many football players who, and watching all these videos during the tournament and watching all these players give interviews and pressers in so many different languages has been so inspiring to me. And I personally, because I love football, I'm really thinking that I need to include football content more regularly on Speaking Tongues on this platform somehow. I'm thinking about ways that I can do that. So if anybody has any thoughts, any ideas, anything that they want to share with me, please let me know. I've been on Threads for the majority of this competition. I haven't really spent time on Twitter in a long time, like I usually do during the World Cup. And I hit 1.4 million views of my content just talking about soccer, football for a month. So that was very encouraging for me because I love soccer and I always feel like I don't know how much football I should be talking about. But now I kind of feel like maybe I should talk about football more because I really do love this sport. Number one, I love World Cup. Number two, but it's truly a global game, and my platform is all about global international content and culture, and football is life. Danny Rojas, football really explains so much of our culture, our society, who we are, who we want to be, who we aspire to be, what we let slide, what we accept, what we don't accept. And so that's going to be happening. I'm just going to need to figure out how to do that. But if anyone has any ideas or any thoughts on that, please let me know, because I love to hear the thoughts of people who listen to my show and people who love language and culture and people who love football. So let me know. Leave me a comment. Polyglot footballers, though, that was it wasn't something that I'm finding out for the first time. It's just like seeing it like over and over regularly. And some of my favorites, like Mario Balotelli, Ronaldo R9, Romelu Lukaku speaks like 8 languages. Hello, so impressive. Hey, Sambaza, I'm heading out because it's too hot in here. So I'm really thinking of how, we're gonna include. Oh, and Thierry Henry, he's another one. So I think it's been really inspiring for me to see all these polyglot footballers, and we're gonna have more football content on this channel. I'm really excited about that. So that's about it. I'm wrapping it up. What's up with today's match? Listen. Let's just look forward to Saturday at this point. Let's just look forward to Saturday. With that being said, I'm heading out of here. It is again 95 degrees in New York City. It's too hot to sit in this closet for much longer. But thank you so much for watching. Thank you, Sambaza, for chiming in there in the chat. We will talk tomorrow. Guys, Sambaza and I have been creating some football content throughout the tournament. And he knows a lot more about football than I do. Like I said, I'm vibes. He's technical. So I really appreciate it, because there's so much, even though after almost 30 years, there's so much that I still have to learn. But we got to get a collaboration on this channel so that anyone who's watching can see both of our content, because we've been having some really fun live watch parties and football conversations. And we'll be doing that again tomorrow. So I'm looking forward to it. But we're wrapping up World Cup this week. I hope everyone enjoys the next game. Watch the third place match. Just watch it. You might not think there's anything, to watch, but Just watch it because we only got 2 matches left, and then we got another 4 years before we have another World Cup. So enjoy the last 2 matches. Enjoy the rest of your evening. Stay cool. If you're in New York City, wear a mask because there are wildfires and it smells like burning outside. Take care of yourself. Stay hydrated. Get some sleep. Eat well. Watch out for the lettuce. And take care of yourselves. And I will see you guys next time.